What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Primetime tutorial. This template's pretty cool. It incorporates these popular stadium lights. I'll just call it that for now. In the background, you can you're going to have several different options to put back here, not just what comes on the default template. I'll show you here. When you open it up, you're going to have all of these. You're going to have the brush file. I'll show you how to do that. Make sure you open up this actual lights file as well, because you're going to have all the different configuration of lights in here. So I'll just kind of show you one here. When you open up the folder, it's just the basic circles of lights. If you look, they're slightly blurred. That's just because they will be in a background, so you don't want them completely sharp. I feel like with me just creating a slight blur on them, it just creates a little more realism. And then I add this kind of glow to it. You can turn that on or off if you want. Once we get in and start working on it, you're going to notice that you see these flares. Now, if you ever see these in photos when people are using the real lights, you'll get some hot spots in them. So this kind of just helps create that. Let's go to this brush file though. So right when you get this brush file, you're going to, and this is just going to be some smoke. Here, let me show you. I'm just going to say open with beta. I want to open it in my beta version just because I already have it in my main Photoshop. I don't want to keep adding stuff there. So it's going to come down here. You'll see MVP brushes and then MVP smoke. Here, let me turn this black, and I'm going to kind of show you what they do. So these with the little white box here, these are going to be kind of automated. When you click it, you'll notice your flow automatically went to 3%, and it automatically selected a white brush for you. It starts off at 5,000. I'm going to do the closing bracket, make it smaller. Excuse me. Or you can click up here and just kind of drag this down. I like working at about 2,000. I'll just kind of keep that there. And as you see, once you start brushing just a little bit at a time, it just kind of builds it in. You're probably wondering why I'm showing you this. Here shortly you'll see where we're going to use it. But there's just 4 different designs if you want. Now if you want to come in and just do a burst of smoke, you can do that as well. Let's crank it up to 100. You see that doesn't look too good. I want to undo, so I like to bring my flow back down. If I'm just going to do the single brushes like this, I want maybe about 20. And you can see what that's doing. I really don't use those. Some people prefer those. That's the only reason I included them. I like using these where it's already got the scatter and the spread and the size jitter and all that stuff built in already. All right, so we'll close. I'm just going to close beta. I don't need to show you guys that anymore. So yeah, this is it. Let's get started on it. I'll walk you down through each layer for a minute. At first, we just have the bottom name layer here. Let's see, then we have just a little smoke on the bottom, and it's a colored smoke right now. If you wanted to add a secondary, you can, and I'll show you how we're going to do that later as well. For this image, this team, their colors are blue, black, and white, so I just stuck with a blue kind of fog. This is what I was telling you about. This is going to be some of your, actually, sorry. This one is some light leak and some flares, stuff like that. That's only on your subject. So if you look at the subject here, this layer is clipped to this subject folder, and I'll turn it off and you'll see. And again, all that's doing is just kind of making it look a little more realistic, making some of this light in the background bleed onto the subject's arm, a little bit in the hair, stuff like that. So when we do a drag in a new image of a new person, we will turn this black and just kind of recreate it. If you're doing batch edits on this, you can just cut it off. Still looks good. It's not necessary, but if I were to do, when I'm doing like senior banners, I'll do them by hand, each one, and I'll include this in those. But if I'm doing, cranking out 600 team and individuals, I'll turn that off. All right, let's see here. Subject, obviously, that's your subject. Next is your vignette. It just kind of darkens the edges here a little. Now we're getting into the background smoke. I have several layers. I like layering smoke and fog just because it makes it look a little more realistic. So I have the white. That's just going over the actual lights. So here, I'm actually going to turn off the subject layer. So the white here, again, it's just going over the actual lights, and that's why I included the brushes. So depending on what light configuration you have, you're probably going to want to paint those that new kind of white glow. This is just where the light hits the fog, and it's going to be brighter than what's blue, or separate from where the gels might be turning this blue. So you're just going to want to kind of paint in some white just to give it a little more realism. All right, then the blue here, that's obviously going to be your main fog area. You can double click it, get in here and really change the colors around. Do whatever you need to do. Let's see, and then I have a secondary one. I'll show you how we're going to use that in a little bit with some layer masks. Basically, if you want like red coming in on one side, blue on the other, you can kind of turn this one on for that. All right. Excuse me. All right, top text. Kind of zoom in a little, show you what we're doing here. It's on and off. So, pretty self-explanatory, sports school team. The actual team name is in this kind of stadium light font. So I kind of did the same thing like I did in the background. I did for that. You don't have to use it, but if you want to just add a little bit of color bleed and some hot spots and these little circles, then that's what this is here for. If you don't want to use it, turn it off. I just thought it looked kind of neat, so I included it. All right, let's move down. Now we're into the background lights. Right now I have two 3x4 sections in here, and then I included the flares, and this was what I was talking about. So we'll get in here with a brush and just add some hot spots to some of these and just get creative. I like having the subject on when I'm doing that. If it's directly behind her, of course, it doesn't make sense to do it. If it's going to be, again, some batch stuff, then just turn this back off and just do some random ones. Just make them hot, maybe around the outer edge or something like that. Just whatever looks good to you. All right, let's see here. Oh, and then we have just your background color. For this one, I'm keeping it just black. I've had some where I just kind of do like a dark navy. It looks good as well. Just whatever you need for your team. So let's change this out to another photo. Play with the background lights a little, and I'll show you how everything works. This is a picture of my kid, thinking he looks all badass. We're going to keep letting him think that. So I have my auto select turned on. I'm going to click her, and I'm going to, right here, you can just drag it over whatever. I just copied it, Command or Control C from this document into this one. So right there, then I'm just going to Command or Control T, just kind of get him right where I want him. Let's see, we'll go about right there. I'm not going to spin, I'm not going to get too picky with it, since this is just for tutorial purposes. Alright, so let's get in here. First things first, I'm going to change the name. Let's see, we'll say this was an 11U team, so instead of the senior or the class section, I'll just kind of do 11U. This is just a rec league. Last name is Brown, and he is a third. We call him Trey. So all I'm doing is grabbing this text tool. I'm sorry for not showing you that. Clicking anywhere in this in the text, and then I do Command or Control A, highlight it all, type it, click the little check mark up here. That's really it. I think with that, I'm just gonna get rid of the space. There we go. Now we're going to collapse that. I'll just go ahead to the top, find it over here, top text. You don't have to come over here and do it when you have auto select on. I just like kind of showing you where I'm working. First thing I'm going to do, click in this black layer mask right here. Since we're about to change this text, it's going to look like crap, so I'm just going to go ahead with black being my background color over here. I'm going to do Command or Control Delete, and that just turns that black. Or you can just get a black brush, paint it out, whatever's easiest for you. Alright, so this is baseball. This is a part of our East Lincoln. Let's see here. Let's go to this new thing Photoshop has here. It annoys the crap out of me, but I don't want to delete it, so I guess I'm a glutton for punishment. All right, this is not volleyball. This is baseball. Keep that there, and I can just do Mets, or I will do ELOs, Lincoln Optimus Mets. Just fills that space up a little more. Obviously, that's going edge to edge. Doesn't look that good. So I want to, while I have team selected over here in the layers, I'm going to do Command or Control T with my move tool and pull up the transform tool. Sorry. I'm just going to shrink that a little. All right there. Now baseball looks a little lower, so I'm going to go to the sport layer. I'm just going to go to my let me go over here to the move tool, and I'm just going to push the up arrow a little bit, just line that up a little better. Now what I like doing, maybe it's not necessary, but I just grab all three of these layers, sport, and I'll hold Command or Control, and I'll click school and team so they're all selected together. While I have move tool, I'll select this little icon that looks like a Christmas tree that just lines them all up. It barely did, but that's okay. Now all of these have an outer glow. Let me make sure I don't have any weird colors. No, it's just white. So again, just kind of gives it some more glow. If you want to change those colors to this blue or something, you can. I recommend white since the lights are white. If you want to change the color of the text, you can do that. I would recommend changing the color of the glow with that. I just prefer white because it matches the stadium light look in the background. Alright, so let's see. I think I'm going to keep my background black. This here. Yeah, I'm going to keep it black for now. So first things first, let's go and play with the smoke. I'm going to turn... Actually, no. Sorry, let's play with the lights. Background lights. Alright, first things first, like I did with the little light flares up here on the name, I'm going to turn this black, Command or Control backspace. I'm going to add those flares back up here shortly. I just like doing that last. You can add that to whatever part of the workflow you'd like. I'm just going to turn these off for now. I'm going to come back over here. I don't need this anymore. I'll delete that. And it's going to bring, there we go. So let's just do, oh no, let's see, we'll keep it simple. We'll just add a couple strips. How about that? Copy. And again, I'm just copying this folder. And while I'm still right here under the background lights, I'm just gonna Control or Command V, paste that. You can't see it, but it's okay. Command or Control T now to transform it, so you can make it whatever size. You can make it, change the angles if you want, all that. I'm going to, actually I'm just going to keep it the size that it imported at. Right there. Something going on him. Sorry, that's my subject flare. I want to turn that black too. Sorry, I went out of order here to show you, but the mask, or sorry, the lights that I was showing you earlier that's clipped to the subject, I went ahead and just Command or Control Delete on that black mask, turn this black too. That's throwing me off. Alright, so now that this strip is in here, the 1x5 strip, I'm going to Command or Control J, just copy it, or you can just come here and drag it over again, whatever's easiest for you. While that's selected, I'm going to turn off my auto select. I'm going to hold shift and I'm just going to drag that over. That's just kind of makes it very parallel with the other. I'm going to keep it very simple, just keep those two lights for now. Looks pretty good. Now we're going to add some, actually I'm going to come in here, I'm going to turn this white smoke off because that's throwing me off a little as well. Now I'm going to go in and add some flares. I'm going to show you how I do this. So I'm going to hit B for the brush tool. I'm just going to grab a large, soft, you notice my hardness is all the way down. My size is at 1,000. I don't know if that's where I'm going to need it. Yeah, I'll keep it here for now. See how it's, my circle here for the brush is just a little bit bigger than that circle for the light. I'm going to put my hot spots right in the middle. What I'm going to do, get my brush flow, I'm going to bring it down to 30. And this very center light, I'm just going to tap it about 4 or 5 times. Actually, I did about 6 or 7. Same thing on this side. The ones leading to that one, I'm going to tap those a couple times as well. Just get in here and get weird, man. Just play with it, see what you like. You can. I'm going to just do 1 or 2 up on this top one and 1 or 2 on this bottom one. I don't want to be perfectly even. Something like that. Looks good. If you want to raise your flow up, let's do 60. I might hit this side one more time right there in the center. I don't know what's going on with my brush. It's acting weird. It's jittering everywhere. Right there. Just a couple more. Looks good. Now what we're going to do is turn this white smoke back on. I'm going to hit that black mask again, and you guessed it, Command or Control Delete. And now we're going to brush some smoke in. So right here I have my smoke. Just grab any one of these, doesn't matter. I'm going to make my brush real small. Let's do 2500. And then I'm just going to brush just little circles like that right where the brightest lights are for a little bit. I'm just going to build that in. You can see over here on the mask it's starting to build in just very subtly. Don't go nuts with it. And again, it automatically, when I selected that brush, put my flow at 3%. Don't forget, because later you're going to try to use another brush and you're going to think it's broken. It's not. Just crank that flow back up to 100. But right now we're going to keep this at 3. I want to keep going over those little circles there. And then I'm going to start going up and down on this whole light. And you'll see it's just slowly building in just on the light. Now it's 2500. I want to bring it down to about 1500 because I don't want it too big. If it gets too big, it's going to get everywhere. I'll keep that brush real small. I want to brush it in a little bit more. And then right there on that center light, just a little more. I'll almost want it to disappear into white. Almost like that. So you can just barely see what it is. I want to go over these 2 lights leading up to it a little bit more. And as you see now, look at the mask, you just have that white smoke right where those lights are. Turn it on and off. If you feel like you did too much, it's okay. Grab this opacity, lower it a little. Or turn that brush black. Hit that, and then you can brush it out. I would recommend just lowering the opacity. That's fine. All right, I'm going to leave that as it is. Now let's play with the rest of the smoke. So the background here, I'm going to double click this blue, and I'm just going to grab a blue out of his jersey. Now with the background smoke, I recommend having a brighter color like this. So I would, whatever you select, like here, I'll show you again. I'm just using the eyedropper tool, grabbing this blue. I'm just going to grab that and drag it up. I might even drag it more towards white because you're not going to have real thick colored smoke like that. Some people might like that. If so, then by all means come over here and get as dark as you can. I personally like it just a little paler and desaturated. So that's what I do. All right, now I'm going to turn this one off, and I'm going to add a second color. So I'm going to grab this color. I'm going to grab this orange in his jersey, just a light patch of it. And same thing, I'm going to come over here and just do like a paler version of that, which is what I think I already had, because the other team I did this on had orange as well. All right, now you think that looks weird together. So you're right, it does. It looks terrible. So you can do two ways to make this realistic. You can grab this first mask. You still have your brush. We're going to get rid of it now. So I'm going to hit X so it's black. And I am going to crank this up to a 10% flow now. And I'm just going to erase some of this blue from this side with a 10% mask. You want it to kind of mix. You don't want it to be like a hard separation. Now I'm going to come down here to the orange, and I'm going to do that to the opposite side, removing the orange from this side, so it's just like a blue and an orange mix. And somewhere in the middle they're combining. It's probably right behind him. So that's really it. You see the two masks here, we didn't get rid of it completely, so it's more of a natural feel. Or you can just do a big round brush. I like using the smoke, but you can just grab a big round brush like we did on the lights. All right, now let's close this. We're going to do the same. Actually, let's keep it open because we're going to copy these colors. I'm going to double click this blue again, and I'm going to Command or Control C to copy that blue. I'm going to come up here to this foreground smoke and Command or Control V. That was almost the same color too, to keep it there. Same thing with this orange, Command or Control C. I'll come up to the foreground orange, Command or Control V. I'm double clicking that color swatch to pull that up. All right, so same thing. While we have our brushes, we're going to start brushing it out off the orange, the blue off of the orange side. And then we're going to come over to this side and brush the orange off of that. And that's it. Now we kind of have two different colors colliding here. If you don't like the smoke I added, or the fog, you got those brushes. You can come in here and just completely delete this and just add your own. Same thing with these. If you don't like how the smoke looks, come in with these brushes I gave you, add your own smoke. I want you to fully be able to customize this thing to your liking. We're pretty much done here. Let's go back to the top text. We're going to add those light flares if you want to those. We're going to do it the same way we did with this back one. So let's go to top text. Whoops, sorry. Go to this color mask here, this mask for the white. Come up here and zoom in, and then once we're done with this, we're going to add the color splashes to him. All right, so let's get the white brush again. Our soft hardness is at 0. We're going to make that dot a little smaller, about right there. Sorry, about messed up. Let's keep our flow at, let's do 40 again. Oops, sorry. That's 4. Let's do 40. There we go. We want to come in and just add a few hot spots. Oops, sorry, I'm on black. Make sure you switch back over to white here. I just hit X to do that, or you can hit this little curve E arrow. All right, I'm going to start adding some just randomly. Again, if I was doing this for a client, I'd be very picky and careful. I'm just kind of running through it to show you how I'm doing it. Let's see here, we'll add a couple here and I'll just wrap it up. You get the point. Let's go ahead and crank our flow to 90 actually, and I'm just going to do a few spots. Actually, I'm going to make my brush bigger too, so it looks like that light's really spreading out. Bam. Bam, bam. Couple there. Stuff like that. You get it. Zoom out. I'll turn it on and off. I might have got too strong with some of those. That's okay. And just kind of, oh, my flow's already at 75. Actually, I forgot I Forgot I created that at 75 for that reason. So if you want it stronger, crank it. But I will keep it at, actually, I'm going to drag it down to 70. All right, that's it. Now let's get to the light flares that are showing up on the subject. This part's cool. We're going to keep the same brush. We're just going to make it big now. What's cool about this is only going to show up. I'll keep it at 90, kind of give you an example. It's only going to show up on the subject. So watch, as I brush, it's just on him. Command or Control Z. So right here where you got some light flares, I'm just getting the edge of this brush right on the palm of his hand and on that bat, just the edge of it. So it doesn't have to be perfectly over the light since we're putting it just on the subject. Just going to tap it right there. We'll do it one more time for that palm. Let's see, right there. Then I'm going to do it right here on his forearm just a little bit because that's where the light is, right here as well. Hit a little bit on that forearm right here on that hand. And I'm going to make the brush a little smaller and just put something right there. It splashes on the jersey in his hand. Right here. I know it's a shadow area, so that's okay. I want to make my brush bigger. And again, just the edge of that brush, if you notice, is hitting his elbow. I'm going to tap it one time at 90% flow. If you want, you can just add a little splash to his pants. Maybe a little bit more. I'll hit it one more time. Something like that. So it just kind of adds a little more realistic elements to it. Right there on his elbow again. Might hit his ear here, his hat. Nah. Control Z. Then I'll make my brush smaller and I'll just do a little bit right here on his hat maybe. Alright. What I also like doing is right here in the bend of his elbow where you get a little light. Just lower that real small and just do like almost like a little light flare right there. See, stuff like that I just love. Might do it right, and no, it's not. All right, but as you see, as I zoom in, how that background's just a little blurred. That is on purpose. So again, if it's like you're shooting at about f8, probably it would blur about that much. If that was about 6 to 10 feet behind him, it would look about like that. So that's really it. Feel free to go in here and go nuts on the team. Here, let me just open one of these. You can obviously get in there and add a bunch more. We remove the subject and you can see I just went crazy with it. Now with the lights on here, I added a mask. Whoops, sorry. Let me move the subjects again because it does start to fall. Otherwise your lights might be down here and behind the text. So if you want that mask to go away, just hold shift and tap that mask and there it is. So that's why I added the mask to the team shots. So it just kind of makes it look better. And obviously getting there with the light flares, just add some light flares behind the subjects again. Just kind of helps blend them into that background. Just looks good. But that's it. If you have any questions, please hit me up. I think you'll enjoy this one because you can just get in there and just truly fully customize this to however you want. Just go nuts with the lights, do weird, crazy configurations of them. Get creative. Maybe you can use these strips to spell out, like put an N or an M, or like create letters or something for the team logos or team names rather. You know, just get weird. I can't wait to see what you guys do. But yeah, hit me up if you have any questions. Thanks.